Gustav, the English classical music composer and conductor, was born in the late 1800s and developed a keen interest in astrology in the early 1900s. Enthralled by the character traits associated with the planets, he couldn't think of anything else and subsequently composed the legendary suite known as The Planets. This masterpiece allocates a dedicated section to each planet, allowing the listener to distinctly hear the essence of each celestial body. Leading the suite is the unmistakable red intensity of the god of war, Mars. When you look at the sky, you can't already see another celestial body shining in a red hue. Let's go to Mars, which has the highest mountain in the solar system and whose surface we know very well. If you look around, you can see that you are not alone. We have extensively explored and roamed the surface of Mars with spacecraft sent from Earth, conducting various research. So, we are not complete strangers to the surface of Mars. Mars is the planet in our solar system most similar to our Earth, although of course there are some differences. It is about half the size of Earth and much colder and drier compared to our planet. Approximately 4.6 billion years in the past, when Mars initially formed alongside our Earth, it closely resembled our planet. Mars had a comparable atmosphere and abundant liquid water on its surface. If we were inhabitants of Earth during that era and gazed at the sky, we would have seen a blue planet resembling our Earth, not the red planet we observe today. According to our estimates, about 4 billion years ago, Mars faced a significant downturn. Similar to Venus, it underwent a global climate crisis, leading Mars to evolve into the nearly lifeless planet we witness today. After the 1960s, we consistently dispatched spacecraft to the planets in our vicinity. However, more than half of the spacecraft sent to Mars resulted in failure. The core challenge was that the most opportune time to send a spacecraft to Mars occurred only once every 2 years. In other words, if you encountered a problem while sending a spacecraft, you had to wait for 2 years before attempting again. After delivering the spacecraft to Mars, you had to navigate complex procedures successfully to safely land it on the surface. Both the spacecraft sent into orbit around Mars and those landed on its surface were primarily sent to answer a single question: is there life on Mars? Another reason for our keen interest in Mars is its similarities with our Earth. A day on Mars is 24 hours and 37 minutes, but a Martian year corresponds to a full 687 Earth days. Its axial tilt is very similar to Earth's at 26.2 degrees. Mars also experiences day and night cycles as well as seasonal changes, but temperature and climate variations are dramatic due to its extremely thin atmosphere. Daytime temperatures can reach 20 degrees Celsius, while at night they can plummet to minus 140 degrees Celsius. We mentioned that the atmosphere is very thin, but the mixture of gases in its atmosphere is similar to Earth, with one crucial exception: Mars lacks oxygen. In the 1800s, astronomers such as Wilhelm Beer, Johann Heinrich Mädler, Emmanuel Liais, and Giovanni Schiaparelli discovered ice caps at the poles of Mars. Initially, they also reported seeing channels resembling water canals and rivers. By combining these observations, they envisioned the possibility of life on Mars. There was a fear that more powerful and intelligent beings on this planet might one day invade Earth. However, in 1909, the Greek astronomer Eugene Michel Antoniadis stated that what was previously thought to be river-like channels was a misconception, merely an optical illusion. As spacecraft began to be sent to Mars, we realized that we should fear not the inhabitants of Mars, but rather the tendency to anthropomorphize Mars. The Mariner 4 spacecraft conducted a close flyby of Mars on July 15, 1965, recording and transmitting its observations. Upon completing its mission, it sent back the collected data and images to Earth. The photographs revealed a heavily cratered surface, But Mariner 4 discovered interesting aspects. It identified one of the craters observed in a close flyby as one of the oldest formations on the planet. Unlike Earth, Mars lacks tectonic plates and its atmosphere is quite thin. The craters seen by Mariner 4 were formed about 3.8 billion years ago during a period of intense asteroid bombardment. Due to the absence of tectonic movements similar to Earth, these craters have remained relatively unchanged since then. The first spacecraft to enter Mars' atmosphere was Mariner 9, and it made interesting discoveries. Mars experiences sandstorms that vary in size, sometimes lasting for months, and Mariner 9 was the first spacecraft to discover this phenomenon. Sandstorms pose a significant challenge, especially for spacecraft on the planet's surface. In 2018, a dust storm was the cause of the communication loss, with the Opportunity rover rendering its solar panels inoperable. One of the recently formed volcanoes on Mars is Olympus Mons. We've learned that it is the tallest volcano in the solar system, standing at a height of 27,000 meters, which is 3 times larger than Mount Everest. We obtained the most definitive information about Mars' potential hidden life through the Viking 1 and 2 missions, which began in 1975. These were the first spacecraft to successfully land on the surface of Mars and remained active for about 6 years. Apparently, Mars did not have life in the sense we understand. However, these spacecraft provided evidence of the likelihood of water having been present on Mars in the past based on the geological structures they observed. The revelation that there might have been water on Mars in its earlier history excited the entire scientific community. As a result, Mars missions continued with the hope of finding some form of life. Since 2010, autonomous rovers or explorers have been actively conducting research on the Martian surface, ranging between 4 to 8 units at a time. In a sense, Mars is a dead planet. Its core is stagnant and cooled. With a frozen and immobile core, the planet lacks a magnetic field. A planet without a magnetic field is vulnerable to cosmic rays from its star.